first. It wasn't quite the landslide the polls had originally predicted. But don't let that diminish what's been a very strong win for the LNP in the weekend's Queensland election. By anyone's measure, 7.5% swing to the Liberal Nationals is a terrific result. To put it into perspective, the Labor Party took office federally at the last election with a swing of just 3.6%. So what David Crisafulli has achieved on the weekend was double the swing that put Anthony Albanese into the lodge. And for the Conservative side of politics, this win is even more impressive when you consider that while the Sunshine State is normally strong for the coalition federally, at a state level, the centre-right has only been in office for just 6 years since 1989. So 6 years of LNP rule in that time and 29 years of Labor rule. And it was Labor's failures in government that turned the tide for Crisafulli, who campaigned relentlessly on just 4 issues, what he called the 4 crises: the youth crime crises, the health crises, the cost of living crisis and housing affordability. All of which he said, if you elect me, Queensland, I will fix it, and I'm prepared to resign if I don't get the results I'm promising you. Now, if nothing else, that's a sign that he's serious about making a difference. The new Premier got to work on Sunday morning, and today, after being sworn in, he's already removed Labor's old head of Premier and Cabinet, the long-time ALP operator, Mike Kaiser. He's got his head down, working through all the briefing materials to set up his ministerial structure to get everyone focused on delivering change, not just announcing it. Still, I wish the coalition hadn't been so ready to acquiesce to Labor's unaffordable and unsustainable policies like 50-cent public transport fares, a shameless bribe from Stephen Miles to try and hang on to power. Unfortunately, it's now all locked in because the LNP matched it. Then there was that completely confected abortion scare, directly copied from American politics, falsely alleging that the LNP would roll back women's rights. Now, not a single coalition candidate, not one, had any plans for a private member's bill on abortion, and Crisafulli had no intention whatsoever of distracting his government by allowing such a bill to come forward from his side. But never let the facts get in the way of a good scare campaign, says Labor. A lesson here for Peta Credlin is that not getting on top of these issues early allows the myths to run. And that's in part why the LNP's big poll lead was whittled back. No coalition campaigner should ever expect a fair fight from modern Labor. It's a sad thing to admit, but they have no record to run on, no plan for the future. So fear is all they've got, and they will start to gear up on it, on abortion federally, even though it's not a Commonwealth issue. Now, you think I'm making that up? Here was Labor's most senior Queensland minister, Senator Murray Watt, on this very point on Sunday morning.
I mean, I saw Peter Dutton and a range of his colleagues try to shut down the debate quickly. It's not the Labor Party who are wanting to reopen this debate. We've got a settled position. The laws have been passed here in Queensland, as they have pretty much across the country. The only people I see wanting to relitigate whether abortion should be a crime or not are members of the LNP. So, you know, if Peter Dutton is that concerned about this issue, maybe he could have a word to some of his senior shadow ministers who keep wanting to reopen this debate.
Grubby politics from a grub there, and that's why you've got to take the lies head on. You've got to call it out, because this is an issue that's deeply personal to so many. And Australians want a response from our political leaders that's mature, that's dignified, and that doesn't import American hatreds here. And that's in part what I said to the Prime Minister's own Assistant Minister, Pat Gorman, on Saturday night. There is no legislative or regulatory mechanism for abortion to be dealt with at a Commonwealth level, and I think that looks to me to be opportunistic.
Well, I agree. I don't want to see a federal election about this, but you've got Matt Canavan, Senator Alex Antic, who already have bills in the Parliament that they're proposing on this issue. That's been on the agenda.
No.
They have, and I saw Matt Canavan on Sky News.
Hang on. Let's be careful.
And
they are not to do with abortion. They are to do with babies born alive as a result
The rights
of an
of infants.
attempted abortion.
Yep.
That is a legal issue about at what point
They're bringing
health,
the federal parliament into it.
does health arrive. It's not to do with abortion. It's to do with medical aid to a baby born alive. Very different thing. You're in the parliament. Do you think a child that survives a late-term abortion should be left to die? What do you think, Pat Gorman? What do you think?
I think, and I agree with you, and I was agreeing with you 60 seconds ago, we should not be bringing the federal parliament, federal elections into this.
No, but if a baby is born alive, would you want the baby to have medical care?
And what we're seeing right here is, again, Liberal Party operatives trying to bring this into the federal parliament debate.
I disagree. I think this is a really simple issue that almost everybody can agree with.
I don't support Matt Canavan's bill.
Duck and weave. There is no social mandate to recriminalise abortion anywhere in this country. There's not. There's not. But there is a growing demand from people on all sides of the debate to recognise the legal rights of the baby born alive after an attempted termination and to ensure that a child is not left to die without medical care. If we can't fix this, we will be treating a dog better than we treat these babies. And we should be mature enough as a country to fix these laws without allowing it to degenerate into US-style politicking.